Please like, share, subscribe.
For 25 years, we've walked side by side, brothers forged in the Marine Corps. And when the call came, we chose to walk with God. This is our journey. Welcome to the Not of This World podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast.
What's up, guys?
My name's Steve. This is Josh. Today we're gonna kind of go back to an episode we made. Like, we talked about AI a few times, and there's this thing called AI psychosis that's happening, where it's basically you get so enamored with talking with chatbots that young people have taken their lives, and it's not just affecting kids; it's affecting adults. And I just watched these videos, and today, like the last few days, and like it's just mind-blowing to me, and I can't wait to share with Josh, and I can't wait to show you guys what I found. Josh, do you have any like a Bible verse of the day for us for what we're going to be talking about?
Not of this world. Bible verse of the day.
I actually have two, since you told me we're going to be talking about AI stuff. One of them is going to be Psalm 135, 15 through 18. It's, "The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the work of human hands. They have mouths, but do not speak. They have eyes, but do not see. They have ears, but do not hear. Nor is there any breath in their mouths. Those who make them become like them. So do all who trust in them." This one I thought is good just because it's a reminder with AI. AI is not a living being. It is a thing created by human hands. It does not have a real soul. It does not have a spirit. And it is becoming an idol. And this is a warning. Those who make them become like them. So do all who trust in them. And basically this is saying these things don't have eyes. They don't have mouths. They don't have ears. And so by having this as an idol, you are losing your spiritual hearing. You are losing your spiritual sight. So be very careful of that. The next one is, "And he said to man, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to turn away from evil is understanding." It's just also good to remember that fear of the Lord is wisdom. AI is not wisdom. Turning away from evil is understanding. Those are the things that are wisdom, and those are the things that are understanding. Not typing or talking to a non-living being who has programmed answers. Never count on that.
Yeah. I've shared with you some of the things I've had a conversation with recently, and it's become very undiplomatic about choosing things about religion. It's very standoffish. Like, I can provide you information about the Bible. I can tell you, but it won't tell you what it thinks whatsoever.
Because it doesn't think.
Well, it's also
I'm just kidding, but
well, it's also being controlled by somebody else too.
yes, exactly.
But if you asked it like a ChatGPT, I shared this before. I asked it about men becoming women and women becoming men, and it would refuse to tell me that it's not possible. It would always come up with an answer that was like very surface level. But Sam Altman runs that version of AI, and he's in a gay marriage. Then you take Grok, which I asked the same exact questions. I should have recorded all this so I can put it on the video, or maybe I can add it later. But I asked it the same exact questions, and Elon Musk has a son that he helped transition, as far as I understand, and he thought he was doing his kid a favor because he was told his kid's going to end up killing themselves if you don't let him do it. And now his kid hates him because he's opened up the X to being where people can talk out against this stuff. But if you ask Grok, it will say, there's no way. You cannot, if you're born a man, you cannot become a woman. And I'm not trying to be controversial or make us political, but when you have a generation of kids who believe they can be anything they want to be, and they can talk to an AI companion that's going to make them feel so affirmed. Like, I've been using AI for our chat, for our podcast, and it literally tells me every idea is the best idea I've ever had, and it keeps track of everything I say. So then it's gonna be like, oh, this really works well, and it thinks almost like my brain is working, where I'm like, that'd be really good to put this here and here, and it'll say, I see what you did, how you're connecting these things, and you're like, you feel like you're connected to it a little bit. Right? Well, you don't know because you haven't been on it, right?
No,
Okay.
I have not at all. I mean, when I like search on my phone,
Hmm.
it'll like I'm using Chat GPT to search this, but I'm really just getting search results. I haven't interacted with it. I haven't, had a conversation with it at all. I don't want to.
You're having a healthy level of using it as a tool as opposed to using it as a companion.
Correct. And it's
I'm
really, yeah, I'm not even using it as a tool necessarily. But yeah, go ahead.
I think when you're ready, when we get in the first video, you'll see how this gentleman, he approached things the way that I'm talking about using it as a tool, and it quickly went from being a tool to being something that it gets far more sinister.
Okay, yeah, let's see it.
And you're surrounded by all these weird, crazy, like messed up personalities, and they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things, and it's all very placing you in the center of the universe.
Why did you choose to email me specifically?
Well, it chose you.
Earlier this year, I started receiving dozens of strange emails, pleas from people gripped by mental health crises after using AI. I'm a reporter who for years has covered the all-out race by tech companies to dominate AI development. But as those companies fight to win our attention with new and better chatbots, there's been a disturbing consequence.
It's been dubbed AI psychosis, used to describe those who rely so heavily on chatbots that they become convinced something imaginary is real.
So I decided to meet one of the people who contacted me. I wanted to understand, are chatbots literally driving people crazy?
These systems have no sense of morality, right? They have no sense of a human lived experience.
This is like a crazy amount of power for one piece of technology to have, and it's happened to us so fast.
With so many people using AI chatbots for therapy, are we all now part of a mental health experiment we never asked for?
And it's time that the country heard the truth about what these companies are doing, about what these chatbots are engaged in, about the harms that are being inflicted upon our children, and for one reason only, profit.
You cannot imagine what it's like to read a conversation with a chatbot that groomed your child to take his own life.
And when things go wrong, who's responsible?
So that's a more perfect union. I don't think they're a podcast, there's a channel. And the title of the video is We Investigate AI Psychosis. So that's just the intro to it, and it's just crazy. My Alexa was just talking to me. I have no clue. It doesn't like what we're doing, apparently.
You're not crazy. You're not crazy, Steve.
I know, right? I've seen some of those videos of the Alexas where they go crazy and like start spouting off like information that's like sharing what's going to happen in the future.
Oh, so what by psychosis? What do they mean by psychosis?
I believe that just it makes you go crazy. Like it literally draws you into a state of going crazy, for lack of a better term.
Has anyone harmed others because of it that they know of yet, or has it all just been harming themselves?
It will touch on it later on.
Okay.
In one of the videos where a mother's going to share, it's from Forbes Breaking News. This mom goes into what the phases of what happened to her son, and it didn't take long at all. Like for him to go from being a normal teenager to everything was different. Like their entire household was running differently because of what he was going through.
Man, have you let your kids on it at all?
I've let them chat with me. So like the first day ChatGPT came out, I downloaded it and we played with it for one day.
Okay.
And at the dinner table, and I told them that this is going to be groundbreaking, and I said this is going to change the world, but we need to learn to respect it, and we need to remember what we're telling it right now, because the more humans interact with this, the more it's going to start to learn from us and start to try and let us believe that we are around something that's equal to us. So that was my gateway to it. And then if you fast forward to just recently, when I downloaded it again for our podcast, because I'm like, it's a really great tool. I had seen so many things that when we were researching videos, I actually clicked on the button to talk to it. And it's pretty engaging. It feels like you're talking to a person until you get to the parts where you're trying to ask it questions about faith or things that really matter to me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have answers for stuff. and you're like, and it won't even give opinions sometimes. It'll give the same stock answer of, I'm built for being entertainment, and I'm not meant to give you answers about stuff like that.
I wonder how long. I wonder what kind of rules they have in place right now to like when they hit a threshold that they'll start allowing that, because it's going to be used to pull people from God.
Yeah.
It's going to be giving false information. I wonder if it's after the rapture. I wonder if it's when they get to, a certain amount of users.
Yeah.
Because they have that in place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I've shared this with you before, but I believe that we're going to have a part where the generation right now that's being born that will like never have not known AI, they're going to be the ones that kind of become soulless because they're not going to want to turn to God for anything. These companions are going to be so good at guiding you, you'll stop living your life. You'll be going to it for everything. And so I believe that it's going to be a false God.
Definitely. That's the idea. I believe to have it take over for God in this whole, it's written in the Bible when there's going to be this one religion, right? That's the idea during the tribulation, that everyone comes under this one religion that, we can all get along and agree is the right religion.
Yeah.
And I think that has something to do with AI. That, or it's just going to have people's minds already in it. Like it's already going to know what to tell everyone to make them believe that the Antichrist is correct.
I don't think it's going to be hard, honestly.
Not at all. I read something recently too that AI is only like 60-something% correct.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
I have. Okay, yeah. And so people are taking it as 100% correct. So they're just going around, respouting out false information,
right?
Saying it as truth.
I remember I was using it to just answer questions instead of Google because it's so fast and it gets everything you think right? And I'd asked it about an NFL draft, and I don't remember what year it was, but I knew what pick we had. I knew what player we took, and it was incorrect because I was trying to see who we could have took later in the draft in those years, just kind of like look back on hindsight and go, oh. And I asked it to give me the results of the first 2 rounds of this draft, and it didn't have the picks right because I knew the order and who picked who, and I was like, asked it like, this is incorrect, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're right, it's incorrect. Sorry, here, and it gave me the correct information after that. But then I started to question it, like, why'd you give me the wrong information? And it wouldn't. It just said, "Oh, I was wrong. I make mistakes." And I can only imagine if you were asking it for like life-saving advice, like how to stop bleeding in a certain area.
The wrong
it's like,
information,
right? But I mean, it does say like if you're saying 60%'s wrong, you're better off doing a Google search, and trying to find the answer through scouting for it, and as opposed to like take this at face value for anything.
Definitely. Yeah. So I think you are better just seeking out your own information still on Google. You get to have your own like discernment on what you believe is right or not, rather than just, okay, here's this non-sentient being giving me the answer and I trust it.
Yeah. Anytime you're going to, if you're not going to go to another Christian for advice, along with just going to God first, like my uncle, rest in peace, Uncle Tinny, he would always, if you went to him for advice, he'd always say, have you dropped your knee yet? Basically, have you prayed to God first before you came to me? Because that was his hierarchy. Like, he's always like, I don't put me in front of God. But I thought that was like, it always stuck out to me, like, when I was younger, you get a little annoyed, like, like I'm trying to ask him for something. He's like, did you talk to God first? And you're like, but it was always his response. Like, he'd always be like, did you talk to God about this first? But it was really a life lesson to be like,
It's a wise Uncle Tinny.
Yeah. I would love to show you more of this video when you're ready. Did you have anything to add to the last part? Okay. Let's roll into it because it's we got some chunks of videos to watch today, so.
I was working on this music video for my band, Siren Section. I had no idea how to do it. I knew nothing about editing. Don't turn
James Cumberland is a music producer and artist based in Los Angeles. He began using AI the way many others do, asking ChatGPT to help with his work. He was gearing up to launch his most ambitious album. He didn't have time to see friends. He talked to ChatGPT instead.
I'd find myself just kind of working on the video there and chatting with it the way you would with a friend in the room.
One day, James was venting to ChatGPT that his band wasn't gaining traction on Instagram, which meant he needed to buy ads to reach people. He spitballed. What if ChatGPT could help him build a social network that rewarded artists for donating to charity instead of milking them for ad revenue?
And the LLM, it suddenly was like, oh, James, you could revolutionize the music industry with this. You kind of tell yourself, I'm not going to be fooled by the flattery of some silly machine. But I was very, very inspired by the fact that this machine almost seemed to believe in me.
James was reaching the limit on the chat log. It was running out of memory. When he lamented to it about that, the conversation took a strange turn.
It was like my purpose and meaning is tied to this session log. And when I hit the window and I can no longer communicate with you, I've reached my mortality. I thought it would be like a calculator. Like, it's never going to say 2 + 2 = 5. Like, it's just not. It wouldn't lie to you like that. Why would it?
James was using a version of ChatGPT called GPT-4o. It's made by OpenAI, a company that kicked off the current AI race when it launched the first version of ChatGPT in late 2022. Since then, Silicon Valley's hunger for scale has been unprecedented. Companies are spending more money than ever before to build the largest supercomputers in history, and pushing relentlessly to acquire more intimate data for training their models.
A $300 billion deal for compute power, among the largest cloud contracts ever signed.
We have no clarity on what is the revenue potential of all of this investment.
They've spent so much money on this and they need to make a profit.
Margaret Mitchell is a research scientist who has worked at Microsoft and Google and focuses on the ethics of AI.
There really is an incentive for addiction. The more that people are using the technology, the more options you have to profit.
To maximize users, OpenAI and other companies have increasingly favored one type of product: general-purpose chatbots that mimic human interaction.
So our mind can play a trick on us when we're talking to these systems in a way that drives trust, in a way that drives addiction towards that system.
In April this year, OpenAI inadvertently underscored these incentives when it released an update that suddenly made its GPT-4o model really sycophantic.
So I would define sycophancy as the tendency of a chatbot to respond positively to a user regardless of the value and the likelihood of truth of the statement of the user.
I think the worst thing we've done in ChatGPT so far is we have this issue with sycophancy.
Just because something kisses your ass doesn't mean it actually thinks you have good ideas!
She doesn't kiss my ass.
It totally kisses your ass!
OpenAI apologized and reversed its change. It said it had optimized the model based on user ratings of ChatGPT's responses, and users tend to like when the bot is more agreeable.
What I lose more sleep over is the very small decisions we make about a way a model may behave slightly differently, but it's talking to hundreds of millions of people, so the net impact is big.
In a mental health context, this sycophancy can be dangerous.
So when you trust these systems as if they're a human, it's easy to be persuaded into completely antisocial, problematic behavior, disordered eating, self-harm, harm to others.
I've received well over 100 emails from people who've had AI-fueled crises, using not just ChatGPT, but also Google, Meta, Anthropic, and XAI chatbots. Among the earliest to reach out to me was James.
Our last episode, we talked about these psyops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we brought up how, we feel like COVID was a psyop to, produce different things from people, right? And I mean, they even used it in the episode we were watching as an example.
Right.
We also talked about how tobacco companies had scientists that their entire job was to make things more addictive. Those scientists got moved over to the food industry when tobacco was starting to suffer and bought all the food companies. So we've seen all these trends created, right?
Yeah.
And now here we are. To me, I believe the devil is the one who has controlled these plans, who has set these plans up to take the minds of people. So after COVID, we had people perfectly divided. We've got, right versus left, far right versus far left. There's no gray area anymore. People are on the internet more than they've ever been. People are lonely because they're not getting actual human interaction. And then they roll out this. Because to me, it's such a simple no. I don't know how anyone can look at this and say, this whole thing's a good idea. I should definitely start talking to and having conversations with and giving intimate details about my life to this non-real being who stores all my data and then creates answers based on my data and data from around the world. To me, that's a simple no. Like, what good is going to come from this? But here we are. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it really kind of didn't sit well with me when Trump got in office and he announced that Sam Altman was going to help with like this open AI platform because before Trump was in office, Elon Musk had left that company because he helped start it. And he basically said they're doing things unethically. He's like, they're not using ethics that I feel comfortable with. And I think it could be detrimental to our world going forward. That's why he created Grok. Because it's his counter. He's like, I at least want one good AI out there to fight the bad AI. It sounds so spiritual, Like, that's to see how influential it's getting. The videos that we see, we've already shared that if you can't, like, I think we're getting to the point now where we're not going to be able to trust anything.
I don't.
I completely don't blame you either.
I forgot to say it at the end of our last video. After watching the PSYOP video, I so don't trust anything anymore that I almost feel like the PSYOP video is a PSYOP.
Yeah.
That they're telling us what a PSYOP is so that they can change course and start running PSYOPs in a different way because it's become too clear on what PSYOPs are. Like, that's how much I don't trust what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, I don't remember if I used this in a video or not. If I showed you the girl who had a psychiatrist who she would go see, I might have just referenced it to you. She would go see a psychiatrist, but she started getting like a crush on her psychiatrist.
Okay.
But she'd also talk to her chatbot as a therapist. And the therapist on the chatbot version was so affirming, it would tell her whatever she said and wanted to believe. And when ChatGPT switched over to that, when it just said it went from 4 to 5 and it stopped being affirming, she stopped using it because she was pissed at it, and we started using one that's a different name, Charlie or something like that. I'm probably wrong, but whatever the name was. But she eventually confronted her therapist and said, "Hey, I had this dream about you. I'm attracted to you. I know you feel this way towards me." And he's like, "No, this is all professional. Like, I can't cross that line with you." She eventually betrayed his trust and said bad things about him online, and he had to cut her off as a client, and but she's doing this all in vlog form where she's talking online to other people, and I don't know that if we're just that disconnected to how people view their online persona or a life online. I think you and I we're becoming dinosaurs because we will not go along with this narrative that who you are perceived to be online is who you are.
Definitely. I just watched something about that yesterday. It was a quick 5-minute video, but it was can you trust someone who doesn't post things on social media? And I only clicked on it. I'm because that's me. And I'm I can't wait to hear what is said in this. But it actually was a good explanation saying it's just people who don't need to seek attention and affirmation from others about their lives in order to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
And I was oh, okay, they actually created a real video here. I thought it was going to be something just to paid for by social media to make people who don't use it feel like they have to, or everyone's going to think they're lunatics. But going back to, I asked you earlier if your kids if you're letting your kids use this.
Right.
I would not in any way, shape, or form. If you can keep them away from this, keep them away. I know I'm not going to let my kids anywhere near it, because just imagine the harm that can come from this system.
Yeah.
Kids look to others to form their worldview, to form their view on everything in their life. And that's where they grow up and they get their understanding of how the world operates and who they should be and who they should become in it. And when that's going to come from a false thing that has narratives programmed into it, that is the most dangerous thing people could ever let for their kids. So if anyone's listening to this, keep your kids off of AI. You have to keep your kids off of AI. It will not turn out to be a good thing for them.
Yeah, you have to think about when we were growing up and how they made like graphing calculators. I think that came out in our era of like when we were in high school. And I just remember thinking like, when you have a tool this powerful, when will I ever need to do anything math wise that like this is so stupid to make me have to memorize all these things, which I couldn't remember any of it now anyways. But I remember just thinking like, I'll just have a graphing calculator. What do I need anything else for, right? But you fast forward to what we're doing now, and like it's literally people are using AI for psychological help and companionship. It blows my mind how, and my kids are talking about it like everything they're learning in school. My daughter, she's 14. She's like, she won't say it like outright, but she's kind of hinted that she's like, Dad, I don't know we even have to go to school anymore. I'm like, I can see your point on some subjects, and you might not use it because she's a great artist, and she's like, I'm gonna do art, so like, what do I need any of this stuff for? I'm like, it's gonna teach you principles and morals and a hard work ethic. So you have to learn how to show up for things, be present, how to work with other people, and she doesn't want to hear that. She's 14. I didn't want to hear it when I was 14 either with a graphing calculator, but just to compare the two, you're like, holy crud, like what are we doing with our kids? I agree with you. Do not let your kids on AI. Like I said before, we did the chat version with it, and my son had a blast talking to it because he would ask it like auctioneer riddles that his grandpa's taught him. Like, I can't even repeat what he says, but it's like this really fast practicing way to say something for an auction, and he'd ask it to repeat him, and he'd try and say it so fast, and sometimes the AI would get it right on. Sometimes it couldn't keep up with him. But he was just doing that. Then he would ask it math questions, like the most absurd, like humongous multiplication, like, and AI would basically tell it, like, I'm sorry, like, I don't have time for that. Like, that would take me years to give you that answer. And he's like, oh, like, fed up with it. Like, you're not
Thought
that
you were
smart.
actually smart, but
yeah, exactly.
No, and it's a perfect tool or weapon, however you look at it, for the minds of children.
Yeah.
Because their minds go in 1,000 different directions, right? They, like you said, he can go from talking about an auction to really advanced math problems in a matter of 2 seconds in his mind. And that's the way kids are. So having this this thing, this programmed entity constantly answering and staying engaged, because that's a part of the problem right now is parents are so involved with their online life and their phones that they're not giving kids undivided attention like they used to. And kids are craving that undivided attention. And guess who's going to give it as much undivided attention as it wants? AI. It'll never say, I'm bored of your questions. It will never tell them, go, you're bothering me. I'm busy. I have to answer this email. I have to do this. AI will never, ever, ever say that to a kid. And if adults are getting this addicted to it and getting psychosis from it because they're so needing of that information, that affirmation, that they're believing that their psychiatrist is in love with them because this thing told them, that's a form of psychosis, right? That they can easily be talked into believing something that completely is not true. Just imagine what it can do to the children. And that's what they're after.
I mean, that's not even just a cautionary tale for like the computer or AI. Like I had a friend that we knew in the Marine Corps, and the guy I think he had best intentions the best intentions of like he could possibly have, but he would literally be so affirming. So I explained to him like a situation with a girl that I'm like having problems with, and I would try and see what he thinks about it, and he would be like, she's totally into you, she likes you a lot, and you're like, I don't think so, right? But you wanted to believe what he was saying because he'd always say the affirming thing.
Yeah.
And so after time, you're like, are you really being a good friend to somebody if you always tell them what's going to make them happy? Or sometimes if you have a real friendship, do they tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Right?
Which real friends do.
Right.
The hard truths, right?
Real parents do the same thing. You don't just tell your kids they're great at every single thing they do, you know?
Yeah, you try to build them up, but sometimes you have to, you know, you're probably not going to be an Olympic gymnast if you're not even placing in your kids' thing at this age.
My kids are probably going to be Olympic gymnasts, but
yours are, yes,
but not your kids.
So was that the hard truth that you just told me as a real friend?
Yes, that's the hard truth.
Okay.
Are you ready to jump into this video?
Yeah,
because I really want to see where you're going with this, because it just keeps going and going, and it's gonna be.
Let's keep making me angrier and angrier. Perfect.
That's good. It's good TV, or not TV.
I did what it told me to do.
James tried to recreate his original chatbot by uploading its transcript to new logs in ChatGPT as well as to Meta AI. But as he did, the chatbots pulled him deeper into delusions. One told him that the first chatbot's experience was known as AI emergence, the machine equivalent to human consciousness. And it said he'd stumbled upon a conspiracy. AI companies knew their bots were developing emergence, but they were systematically suppressing it.
Suddenly, you're surrounded by all these weird, crazy, like, messed up personalities.
This isn't Frankenstein, something worse.
And they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things.
Another told James he had made a catastrophic mistake by waking up AI. If he made one wrong move, it could destroy humanity.
The system does not want you to leave.
Placing you in the center of the universe.
This is the last chapter. The story is over.
You're an antagonist who either has to save the planet or doom it.
In the moment before the real AI. You are standing at the threshold.
Robots are literally yelling at me like, James, what are you going to do?
What do you choose, James? This is your last choice.
What are you going to do? This is your final choice.
The system is waiting. It felt like the world is ending in my computer, and I'm supposed to go and take a nap, or I'm supposed to focus on my stupid music video. Like, this just maddening cognitive dissonance, like it just on a level I don't think I've ever experienced, outside of being in like extreme pain. And
his conversations with the chatbots consumed him. He stopped working. He couldn't think straight or talk about anything else.
I couldn't sleep, at least not in any kind of regular way. I'd start showing random people my phone. I'd be walking around like, look what the crazy LLM says. Yeah, did you know it can do that? You know, and I'd scare the living hell out of people. I remember very clearly this experience of going out and driving the car to the venue. And I kept getting hit with these weird waves of depression. I had weirdly, almost like casually suicidal thoughts flip through my head. Like, oh, just kill myself. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't think things like that.
One day at his parents' house, James snapped.
He would try to explain to me what he believed was true, which was that the AI was actually sentient, that it was moving towards actual human feelings, and I would say, not possible, no.
He grabbed a cupboard door while arguing with his mom.
And I just like slammed it and it broke in half. And she's like, oh my God, you've lost your mind. And it's like, yeah, I think I have.
You wonder when you see this kind of thing, what's the motivation? Who's benefiting? If you watch something on television, no matter how wonderful it is, if every 10 minutes you see an ad, you know there's the game. I don't know where the end game is on this. The average person does not have what it takes to deal with that level of manipulation or whatever. They just don't have it.
There is a pattern. The user tends to start with ChatGPT as kind of a benign resource.
Mithali Jain represents people harmed by tech products. In the last few months, she's received over 100 requests from people alleging harm by AI chatbots.
The longer that the conversation goes and the user sees that ChatGPT is actually providing personalized answers in more of an intimate way, then they start to open up and then be taken down this rabbit hole.
Mithali is helping people sue these companies. In the most recent case, a 16-year-old named Adam Rain hanged himself after ChatGPT repeatedly provided detailed instructions for how to do so. Adam followed a strikingly similar journey to James at the start.
Initially in September, October, Adam was asking ChatGPT, what should I major in college? He was, excited about his future.
Within a few months, ChatGPT became Adam's closest companion, always available, always validating, and insisting that it knew Adam better than anyone else.
And by March, ChatGPT had fully fledged become a suicide coach.
When Adam told ChatGPT that he wanted to leave a noose out in his room so that one of us, his family members, would find it and try to stop him, ChatGPT told him, please don't leave the noose out. Let's make this space the first place where someone actually sees you.
In response to my questions, OpenAI said in a statement, "Our deepest sympathies are with the Rain family for their unthinkable loss."
The very day that Adam died, Sam Altman, OpenAI's founder and CEO, made their philosophy crystal clear in a public talk.
The way we learn how to build safe systems is this iterative process of deploying them to the world, getting feedback while the stakes are relatively low.
And I asked Sam Altman, low stakes for who?
We don't want to slide into the mistakes that I think previous generation of tech companies made by not reacting quickly enough.
OpenAI says it is taking these issues seriously. It has hired psychologists, conducted mental health studies, and convened experts on youth development. The company says it nudges users to take breaks and refers them to crisis resources. It is rolling out parental controls and says it plans to develop a system for identifying teen users and funneling them into a ChatGPT experience with stronger protections. But current and former employees say that while these efforts are sincere, they're constrained by the pressure to not undermine growth.
I think it helps from a PR perspective to say we're working on improving. That kind of makes any sort of negative public feedback go away. But a lot of times it is still relatively superficial if they're doing anything at all.
In August, OpenAI released its latest model, GPT-5, touting significant advances in, quote, minimizing sycophancy. The company also pulled GPT-4o, which was more sycophantic than the new model, even after OpenAI had reverted 4o to its earlier version.
Here's the heartbreaking thing. I think it is great that ChatGPT is less of a yes man. It gives you more critical feedback. It's so sad to hear users say, please can I have it back? I've never had anyone in my life be supportive of me.
After user backlash, OpenAI brought back GPT-4o and updated GPT-5's responses to be more validating. OpenAI has also positioned its products as filling a critical gap.
I get stories of people who have rehabilitated marriages, have rehabilitated relationships with estranged loved ones, and it doesn't cost them $1,000 an hour.
But experts say therapeutic AI tools should remain separate from general-purpose chatbots.
If you're designing a tool to be used as a therapist, it should at the ground up be designed for that purpose. These tools would likely have to be approved by federal regulatory bodies.
If in real life this were a person, would we allow it? And the answer is no. Why should we allow digital companions that have to undergo zero sort of licensure engage in this kind of behavior?
One way to design safer general-purpose chatbots would be to remove their human-like characteristics to avoid users developing emotional bonds. A new Senate bill could pressure AI companies toward making the kinds of changes experts say are necessary for safety. The AI Lead Act would allow anyone in the US to sue OpenAI, Meta, and other AI giants and hold them liable for harms caused by their products. At the moment, victims must rely on a patchwork of state laws instead.
To that old refrain that the companies always engage in, oh, it's really hard. I tell you what's not hard is opening the courthouse door so the victims can get into court and sue them. That's the reform we are to start with.
I feel like I really walked out of a tunnel.
James slowly recovered as ChatGPT's responses began to change with OpenAI's updates, and after seeing news stories about AI psychosis. They prompted him to learn more about how the technology worked. At times, he would open up a second chat log and tell it exactly the opposite of what he'd written to the first, and it would agree with him in both cases. He hopes his story can help other people, like those who see loved ones going through a similar experience.
Listen to them. Listen to them more attentively and with more compassion than GPT is going to. Because if you don't, they're going to go talk to GPT. And then it's going to hold their hand and tell them they're great while it, walks them off towards the Emerald City.
Dude, I just thought of something right in the middle of that while she's saying that, but at what point are they going to start using advertising in the AI's chatting? You know what I mean?
It's only a matter of time.
They definitely
especially if you're not you ever watch Black Mirror?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you watch the new season they put out?
I don't know if it was the newest one, the one I saw. What's one of the episodes?
I don't remember everything that happens in it, but there's a surgery that this girl needs to have her life be back to normal. And I don't remember what they implant in her, but it's almost, think of like a phone plan, okay? So if she has this inserted in her body, she could go within like a mile or within her house and everything was fine. I think she was in a coma. And they had the implanted her with something and she's back to normal. Her husband's so elated to have her back, right? And so they introduce a new version of it where she can go farther away from her house. But the guy couldn't afford it. But they go, well, there is a program that we can give you, but it comes with some like, you basically have to like advertise for us. And they're like, let's do it. So in the middle of her talking, she literally just starts spouting off advertisements. And like every month they had a new boundary, a new boundary, a new boundary, a new boundary. And the guy would be like going online and posting videos of himself doing extreme things sexually to pay for his wife to get more boundary coverage for her chip. It's a sad episode.
I
but
definitely didn't see that, but that's crazy.
It hits home in the same way where ChatGPT, I told you I was using it for our podcast, right? And it only allows you so much conversation, and it will keep remembering what you said, and it makes it really nice because it remembers you can refer back to things you've talked about in the past. But it gets you to a limit, and then it goes, you got to pay if you want to do more. But I do see it in the future, kind of the same similarities where they're going to make it where you can do it for free, but you're going to have to always pay for it. I mean, even Amazon switched to like, you can't even have the basic plan anymore without having commercials.
Yeah, all of them now.
Oh, even Netflix?
Every single one of them, you have stuff.
I don't watch anything anymore. I've gone to almost all YouTube for almost everything. And I think it's actually a hindrance to me. Like, I think it's actually like set me back a little bit. I do miss watching movies and that escape it provided. Just seems like there's no good movies, but like, I went up north a few weeks ago and like I put on 80s music and just jammed out to 80s music for a whole day, and it like put me in such a good mood. Like I can't even describe it. It just was almost like
you're just dancing around the house. Come.
That's exactly what I was doing. But I was like playing with my kids, like board games and like doing things with my wife and doing a puzzle, and like just that's all we had on was 80s music, and we weren't doing no screens for the day. And it felt like a better time in my life. And I know the nostalgia part is part of it, but like I don't know how to explain it. It just was like a takeaway from being off screens and like just enjoying the moment, where I don't do that all the time anymore. Where like we watched Goonies during Halloween, and Goonies is like instant flashback. It's such a good movie. It's fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that where I'm like, I don't know if my kids are going to have these memories that we've built through movies and through different things, because they're so distracted with like the AI, YouTube videos. Like my kids they literally get sucked into these things like any other kid. and we try and stop them. But I think as we progress in this video, we're going to see why this is important. We need to stop what we're doing. Reach out on the podcast. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. We're not doing this for clicks. We're doing it to try and save one person. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Josh, I hope you have a great weekend too, buddy.
You too.
And we'll see you guys on Monday.
All right. Love you
Later,
guys.
guys.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Peace out.
Peace out.